So if I'm sat in the car again, obviously it's got something to do with vehicles. So it's episode 146 of 2 Minute Tuesday, and this is going to be your ultimate Spanish car buying checklist. Now, buying a car in Spain, it's a straightforward process, but it's important that you understand the requirements and the necessary documentation to ensure a smooth and a legal transaction. So what we've got here is an overview of the process and the documents that you'll need in order to buy a car here in Spain. So welcome to episode number 146 of 2 Minute Tuesday with Hondon Valley Homes. Now, a huge amount of what I'm about to tell you is common sense, but it doesn't hurt to be reminded of it every once in a while. So, number one, we've got the common sense thing to do is research. Now, you're in a foreign country, and although the cars are going to be very, very similar, if not identical, the process of buying may be slightly different. So it pays to take notes and learn the nuances, get familiar with the expectations of the buyer and the seller. Begin by researching the type of car that you want, comparing prices, options from different dealerships or private dealers or private sellers, and remember, in Spain, maybe things like you may drive on a few more bumpy roads, or the property that you buy may be up a bit of a bumpy track. So a car with higher ground clearance may be better. There doesn't seem to be the car snobbery in Spain that you have in other areas. So, do you need a very big, expensive car? Maybe get a lower spec or a smaller car. Parking in some of the car parks, the parking can be quite small, so there's no point having a huge SUV if you're going to be driving into the middle of Alicante or Elche or Valencia and trying to park. So bear these things in mind. So again, on the research, there are some great websites that you can go on in Spain. I'll put a link to them in the description, but we've got coches.net, we've got autoscout24.es, and both of these websites have new and resale cars on them, and it'll give you an idea of the prices of the cars. Now, I've got a top tip on this, that when you're checking the prices, especially of new cars, you may find that there are two prices for the properties. One of them will be a price with finance, which is normally lower because the dealer will earn a commission for selling the finance, and if you want to buy the car, i.e. you're a cash buyer, you could find that the price is slightly higher. So check that out as well. Now, if you're in the market for a second-hand vehicle, we've got some really good second-hand car dealers close to Hondon. There's no dealers themselves in the Hondon Valley, but in Aspe, which is 10-15 minutes down the road, we've got some good second-hand dealers. If you go to the city of Elche, which is about 20 minutes away, you'll find every single main dealer that you could possibly hope for, and lots of second-hand dealers as well. So not too far from here, you'll find everything that you need. So the next thing you're going to need is a Spanish tax identification number, which is known here as the NIE. Now, in order to buy a car in Spain, you'll need to obtain the NIE number. Now, if you're already a property owner here, or you're renting a property, the chances are you already have one of these. However, if you don't, your local gestor or your lawyer will be able to obtain one for you. Or if you're brave, you can do it online yourself, or in person yourself. But I think if you can pay somebody to do it, you'll find it quite a bit easier. Now, when you've actually chosen your car, whether it's new or a resale, you need to arrange payment. Now, the payment can either be made in cash or by a bank transfer. Now, if you choose to pay by a bank transfer, it's important that you ensure that the funds are cleared before you're allowed to take ownership of the car. There are, of course, nowadays limits on the amount of cash that you can spend. I think it's €1,000 when you're dealing with a business, so you can only pay €1,000 when you're dealing directly with a business. If you're dealing individually with people, it's €10,000. However, please check on that. You don't want to be turning up in a car park with €10,000 in cash, somebody you've never met before. So again, common sense prevails. Okay, next up we need to provide all of the vehicle documentation. Now, the seller will provide you with the car's registration certificate, which is the Permiso de Circulación, and the technical inspection certificate, which is called the ITV. Now, the registration certificate contains information about the car, including the make, the model, the vehicle identification number or the VIN number, and the owner's details. The technical inspection certificate, that shows that the car has passed its roadworthiness test. You're also going to need to sign a sales contract. Now, this will be done by a dealer for a new car, but if you're doing it with a private vendor, it's important that you have a written sales contract that includes the agreed upon sale price, the payment terms, and the condition of the car. Now, both the buyer and the seller should sign the contract and put in their fiscal details as well. Then, when you've done all of that, you need to transfer the ownership from the original owner to the new owner, and that's in the case of a resale property. So once you've paid for the car and all the necessary documentation, the transfer can be done into your name, and this can be done at the local traffic department, which is commonly known as Trafico, by completing all the necessary paperwork and paying the transfer fee. You'll also need to pay or make sure that there are no outstanding taxes, and obviously get car insurance. Now, my advice on this again is that there are people that can do this for you paperwork wise, and it will save you a lot of hassle, stress and time to put it in the hands of a professional person to do that for you. And that's basically it. So in summary, really, to buying a car, you'll need to obtain a Spanish tax identification number, arrange the payments, obtain all of the car's documentation, sign a sales contract, and transfer the ownership into your name. It's important to recognise that the necessary documentation in order for the transfer of ownership is completed legally and in accordance with Spanish law. And as I just said, my advice is, if you're not a Spanish speaker and you're buying a resale property, take somebody along with you that A, understands the system, and B, maybe they know a little bit more about cars than possibly you do. And that's it, short and sweet this week. Remember, all of our 2 Minute Tuesday episodes are available on our YouTube channel, so please subscribe, and you'll be updated each and every time we upload a new video. If you're in the market for buying or selling a property here in the Hondon area, then please feel to drop me a line, and we'll help you out. So if you're looking at selling, I'll come and have a chat with you about your property and check all your paperwork and make sure everything's in order. And if you're looking to buy, again, drop me a line or give me a call, and we'll be more than happy to help you out as and when we can. So that's it for this week's episode. We look forward to seeing you for the next one. But until then, from a car that's getting increasingly warm and I'm wearing the wrong top, adios.